Hey guys, today we are with our friends Cathy and Howard. We met them at Hope for Cancer when Zach was there back in 2023. We spent 3 weeks in Tijuana, Mexico with them. And today we're going to interview Howard and Cathy on their cancer journey. He is today cancer-free, showing no evidence of disease. It was an uphill and downhill battle, but
yes,
you are there, you're a living testimony, and we want to just really shine Jesus through your story. I wrote a book called Not Even a Spark, so this is going to be in the series of the Not Even a Spark. It's based on Isaiah 43:2, which says, when you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. And I know when you go through cancer, it's really, really scary, and it feels like, how am I not getting burned? But the truth is, God protected us from not even a spark burning us. So we want to hear how God led you, gave you peace, wisdom, and discernment through the journey. So,
wow.
Take us back to the very beginning. What were you experiencing?
Yeah, I think the first thing that I experienced was just a symptom, some blood in my urine, and that it didn't alarm me at the time. I thought, well, that's maybe part of growing a little older, which I didn't know, never been there before.
Yeah.
So
what year was this?
That was in November of 21.
No, 2020.
2020, yep. Thank you.
2020.
She's my historian.
That's true.
And we were visiting my son there in Oklahoma, Guthrie, Oklahoma, so I went to a clinic there, and the results came back, and it was no infection. So I thought, well, everything's okay, maybe just something going on. So that went on probably for 3 or 4 more months, and it began to get a little worse. And
What does worse mean?
instead of just little signs of blood, it was beginning to be steady flow of blood. And that was alarming to me. So I checked with one of the doctors, and he said, well, that's just a normal process of your bladder trying to clean stuff out. And I thought, well, okay, maybe that's just the way it is.
Or kidney stone.
Or kidney stone, something going on in that area. And I did finally make an appointment with a urologist in Greensburg, a little hospital local here. And he did a scope and said that there was a small cancer.
Well, he didn't say it was cancer. He said there was something in the bladder.
In the bladder.
But he also decided that you were going to need to have your prostate out. And he was like, no, I don't need my prostate out. There's nothing wrong with my prostate at this point. We weren't happy with him at all. He was very cold and uncaring. He was very mechanical. He just had we didn't feel confident in him at all.
I think what really confused me, Zach, was when I had that appointment for the practice, or for my meeting with him. He came into the exam room, and the first thing he said, well, I got 10 minutes for you. What can I do? And I thought, I don't know. I said, well, that's what I'm here to see you for. But I thought, that's just the attitude of conventional medicine sometimes. They have so much time for you, and after that, at your age, you're just, you get what you get in 10 minutes, and then you're out.
Yeah, on to the next number.
On to the next client. So that really was a disillusion in some way.
I think they were going to go in and they were going to do a biopsy, is what they were supposed to do to begin with. They talked about doing a biopsy, like a needle biopsy. And then when they called back, they said to you, we have you scheduled for your prostate surgery removal. And then it was like, no, that's not what I'm supposed to. So we said, no, we're not going to go through this channel.
That was a number 2. I think the number 2 thing that really, maybe it was God telling me that, no, this is not where you need to be. I mean, 2 major mistakes like that from the same office. And I thought, well, there's got to be something different. So that led me and Cathy and I on a different trail to look for an alternative. But the bleeding was still progressing pretty bad. I say pretty bad. It was a steady flow of blood. I would pee a little bit of yellow. Nobody's really excited about knowing somebody about the urine, but this is. I think people need to know that this is what's going on.
Yeah.
So if you have blood in your urine, it's not normal, and it's not just something to take light. And that's where I think sometimes people need to address that pretty quick. But Dr. Fetters ordered a
Blood work.
And I think it was the next day.
Yes.
The nurse called from the doctor's office.
This was in 2022.
Yeah, in 2022.
In August of 2022.
And you continued to bleed from
Yeah, I was bleeding.
the
Off
end
and
of
on.
2020 to 2022.
Yes.
And was this the first time you had gotten labs done?
Yes.
Wow. So, what
No,
was your
you did
hemoglobin?
you did have actually blood work done at Greensburg. And at that point, they told you that there was nothing that showed cancerous in your your blood work. And that was in 2021, in January of 2021.
Yeah. Okay.
So from January of 2021
She's
until
got the records.
August of 2022, he did not have any blood work done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did have it one time, and it showed not bad at 2021. But then in 2022, it wasn't that the blood work showed cancer, it was showing his blood count was so low, it was down to 6.
Your hemoglobin.
His hemoglobin. And
Yeah.
then that's when Dr. Petter said you need to go and have a transfusion. 'Cause it's-
Immediately.
Immediately,
Yeah.
Leave work, go to the hospital.
The nurse asked me, said, "Where are you at?" And I said, "I'm at work." And he said, "You need to go to the hospital immediately."
How were you staying awake?
He had passed out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was going to
And
say.
he had passed out I think it was a week or so before that.
Yeah.
And our children, and I both said, you're going to have to go and get something else done. So that's when he made the appointment with Dr. Fetters. And he made the appointment on Monday, and on Thursday he was there. And then on Friday they called to tell him, you need to go to the hospital.
Did you feel so much better after that blood transfusion?
Yes.
This is what I should feel like.
This is normal.
Yeah.
This is what blood in my body is supposed to feel like.
I was a little worried because I was getting somebody else's blood, and that was when COVID
It was after COVID.
was right after COVID,
Sure.
and I was thinking, man, am I going to get some of this
I know.
infection?
Yeah.
But I did feel a lot better.
And that's when they actually went ahead and did a scan then, and that's when they came in and told us that there was cancer in his bladder. And then they caught the lower edge of his lungs, and they saw questionable spots there, and they said it could possibly be scar tissue, but it might be something
scar
else.
tissue from what, though?
They didn't say. They just
They
said,
didn't say
you know,
what.
Did you have
sometimes
a
can
prior
get-
surgery? Or?
No.
No.
It can be
Sometimes
like,
in your lungs, yeah.
you could be like pneumonia or just
Sure,
any kind
okay.
of infections.
Okay.
Yeah, the other thing that I really struggled with was I don't know if it was before I saw Dr. Fetters, but I had a really hard time urinating. It was very painful, and I was up probably
Oh, yeah.
I would say probably literally 15 times a night. Every 20 minutes I was up.
That's why we pushed.
So I got to the point where I was just sleeping in the hallway right there next to the bathroom because I knew I was going to have to get up and go to the bathroom anyway. And I sometimes I would sleep in the office for 20 minutes at a time. But I think what gave me an opportunity, I could felt sorry for myself, but I thought, I could use this time of walking up and down the hallways, excruciating pain, or I could use that 10 minutes or so while I was waiting because I had to go to the bathroom, but it wouldn't come out. So I used that 8 minutes, 10 minutes there. I said, you know what? There's 18 people on our prayer list at church. I could pray for somebody every night, 15 people, while I'm pacing up and down the hallway. So everybody got prayed for every night for a long time
Wow.
with that time frame there.
Yeah.
So I made it I used it for God's glory instead of focusing on the pain and focusing on why me. I tried to use that moment there wisely and use it for the good.
Yeah.
So I began to tell people, yeah, I've been praying for you. I've been praying for you. Yeah, I've been praying for you too. Really? So that was kind of an interesting time. God was opening some doors.
God was opening
big time.
doors because it was 5 weeks from the time he was diagnosed till he had surgery, and we weren't even supposed to see a urologist at that point. But
What did the PET scan show?
the PET scans showed the areas that it was.
Yeah.
Which was the
Lungs, both lungs. What it was it was so spread out. The one doctor said it looked like somebody just took a buckshot and just all over your lungs, just spots all over the lungs, and it was in the spine, T12, and that was a critical area. She said that would probably you could easily be paralyzed from that. Then it showed spots in the liver, and then in the lymph system, it was in the lymph, and that was really concerning me. That really concerned me in the lymph system because that just goes all over.
And that's probably where it started after it left the bladder.
Yeah. I had a golf ball sized tumor. I think it was like 30 millimeters. It was pretty good size. And that was kind of blocking off that part of the flow. Almost 80% of the flow of the lymph system was blocked off. So that and the urethra, it didn't show anything in the urethra at the time. It was in the bladder, though. So it had spread out pretty far.
Stage 4.
Stage 4.
Yeah.
Originally, they said, well, you're going to look like you might have stage 1, but then when the final analysis was stage 4. And what was really interesting, we first met with the oncologist at IU. The doctor, Dr. King, which I'm not supposed to mention names, but Dr. King said, it right now, the way it looks, you have a 25% chance of living for the next, you'll have about 18 months. You have about 25% chance if you do chemo and radiation. If. Well, God was leading me to say, no, there's got to be something else. So that's when I said, well, what if I don't? And she said, well, for data, what we have is about 16% chance that you have one of the most aggressive cancers. So you have about a 16% chance of living for 12 months.
Oh my goodness.
So and that's what's interesting. They give you those timelines. I don't know if it's the fear factor strategy.
Yeah.
I said, well, I'm just going to put it in God's hands and let Him. And she was pretty nice about it.
She was.
But
she was kind.
I could tell she didn't have a whole lot of, I don't think she had much of a faith in that at that point. So we decided at that point, that's when Howard said, Dad, I found some place down in Tijuana called Hope for Cancer. Why don't you check them out?
Yeah.
And I really didn't. Cathy got on the horn and talked with them.
Yeah. I called them. I didn't call them. I actually got on their website to look over it. And I knew about Oasis of Hope also that was in Tijuana. And so I emailed both of them. And Hope for Cancer, like within 15 minutes, I got a response to my email. And they said, we would like to set up an appointment for you to talk to a doctor and just to go over, it's free. We'll set up a time and we can, talk to you. So God answered that. I know where we're supposed to go because like the next week we talked to the doctor. He called right on the dot and that evening and talked to us. And it was like I felt so much peace. And I knew that that's where we were supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yep.
So initially, Howard, were you all for like going to Mexico? Because for me, I was like Savannah. It didn't make sense in my head, and it's like we live in America where we have we're the best at everything, right?
Yeah.
And then Savannah asked me one night. This was like a week before we left, or maybe even 2. She was like, what do you think about going to Hope for Cancer? And I'm like, I'm not going to say yes and I'm not going to say no, but I'm going to pray about it.
Yeah.
Because right now I don't have a peace about it.
Yeah.
So, like, were you, let's go right away kind of thing, or did you guys have any hesitations?
I had hesitation.
Yeah, I had a hesitation
Not
too.
bad. It was just like, gosh, that's just, we had just come through surgery. Because I think he told us about it. He had surgery in September, and this was like in October. They called one day, and he was talking about it, and I was like, we've just gone through a lot, you know, and when you go through surgery and you're recuperating, and it was like, that's a monumental task to think about traveling that far.
Yeah.
And we still had to get our passports, and it was just a lot. And I said, I'm not against it, it's just a lot right now. I ordered Dr. Tony's book.
Yes.
We read that too.
Pretty quick after that, because when I went on the website, I saw that he had a book, and I'm like, and I ordered it immediately and started reading it, and that's when I think too I was like,
and that's where I really got on board with it more.
Yeah.
I still had a hesitation about finances, but he outlined, Dr. Tony outlined in his book 9 different areas that would, you know, they would be addressing these diseases with. And I thought, you know, there might be something to this trip. But Cathy said, well, you're going to need to make a decision here. We got to get this thing taken care of.
Yeah.
And I was sitting in a chair in there, and I thought, well, what about the finances? Well, because our estimate was going to be in the $50-some thousand range.
Yeah.
And Howard just happened to call our older son, and Howard said, we got to talking with him. He said, Dad, what good's that going to do you in the bank if you're not here? So why not spend it and get well? Okay, well, that makes sense. Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Get it signed
and it was
up.
wonderful because Hope for Cancer told us, you know, if you need help getting your passport, we will be glad to help you with that. And they did. I mean, they pretty much said, we'll do this. They sent a letter. They emailed the letter to us, and we put that in with our passport. And we got our passports within 2 or 3 weeks. I think it was immediately.
Wow,
really
I didn't know
quick.
that we had updated passports.
Quick.
They were so helpful in every way, and it was almost like every step. It was like, yep, we're supposed to be.
Yeah, the door
with them.
just stayed open.
Yeah,
Same with us. I mean, a lot of doors closed.
Yeah.
A lot of doors closed.
Yeah.
But the door to Hope for Cancer just stayed open. And we got to end up there on the same 3 weeks.
I know.
And you live 2 hours from us.
I know. When we found
What
out
are
there's
the
an
odds?
Indiana couple here.
Yeah, I know. We called our family that night that we met you and said, God literally gave us Hope for Cancer grandparents.
Yeah.
We have like grandparents here with us.
Yeah.
It was so comforting.
Yeah.
I know.
And then you guys were the ones who told us about Dr. Fetters down at Health and Wellness of Carmel, Indiana. That's who Zach went to. And then he referred us to our surgeon. We would have never found our surgeon.
Yeah. One of the things that came out at Hope for Cancer was all this emotions that will destroy, that wants to destroy, but God had a different plan. He had those emotions. Were found a path to get rid of all this negative emotions.
Yeah.
Well, God gives you the path. That's what I said.
Yeah.
You know, I was talking about that. It's like I prayed, you know, we've never been down this road before. We've never had to go down that kind of a road to that kind of medical, you know. And so it was like, God, just show us the path clearly, because we don't know which way to go. We don't know what kind of doctors. There were so many things. And it's like, I don't want to make these choices without your, you know, without your peace and knowing you've got to give us a direct path. Because, and there was no doubt in my mind that there was a direct path through all of it.
Were you guys there before we got there?
No, they came a few days later.
No, we were a few days.
You were there first.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we met you guys at dinner one.
Yeah, lunch.
At lunch.
We had just gotten there.
Yeah.
And they said, well, we'll give you the tour after lunch. Why don't you, you know, go to the salad bar and fuel up, and we'll give you the tour. And we met you at the salad bar.
I know. It's like, You're from Indiana.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
We're at the
You're close to
celebrate
us.
extinguishing the flames.
Yeah. One thing that's unique, I think, about Hope for Cancer, you touched on emotions. And they have you see a counselor 3 times in that 3 weeks to help work through any emotions. I mean, you know a lot more, Zach, with childhood traumas and just it really weakens your immune system.
Yeah. And I think everybody that came to Hope for Cancer with us at the time had experienced some kind of an emotional charge, I think, that was just leading a lot of this depression. I call it mental inflammation that this continues to fester, that is not healthy. That's what Dr. Tony's saying, inflammation, but he doesn't go into a lot of detail on the one chapter. I call it mental inflammation. There's physical, but there's also the other part too. And I think, Zach, you had some of that going on too.
I had a huge breakthrough that I don't think if we ever, even if we stayed here and didn't go, and even if we went conventional or alternative, I don't think we would have ever addressed the emotional side and the traumas.
Yeah, Hope for Cancer does well at that.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot like what Dr. Tony in his book says, you know, you give people the credit for what they did, the good part, but then you verbally address the part that you didn't agree with. You know, because we don't want to look on the dark side. Well, you worthless piece of so-and-so, or you just really messed my life up. No, you don't want to address it that way. You give them credit, which I did that with my mother.
Yeah, she gave you life.
Right, exactly right.
He said, thank you for giving me life.
Thank you for giving me life and the ability to experience what God is. Thank you for the ability and giving me an opportunity to meet Zach and Savannah.
Yeah.
I'm still working through some of the emotional stuff that I'm finding. The trauma even blocks our cells, our receptor cells. So I've been working through that here, 4 years later. I'm working through that and helping other people identify some of these blockages and the emotional blockages through trauma that can just, whether it's inherited or current.
Sure. It makes me think of the word sanctification.
Ongoing, yes.
Yeah. You know? We will continue to try to look more like Christ until the day we're with Him.
Yes. Yes. Here I am. I might have lost all my hair if I would have known some of these things.
Could have saved some hair. Yeah. So when you got home from Hope for Cancer, what did a day look like? Give us the outline. I see. Is this your schedule?
Yeah.
You were like Zach.
We had a schedule.
There was a boom, 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 boom. Every hour of the day was designated towards healing.
Yep, I came home and I cleaned out the office, one of the rooms there, one whole wall, and put my table there, and that became my treatment room. And usually probably 7:30, 8 o'clock till about 2 o'clock every day. That's where I was at. Doing my treatments. And on my list, I have 23 protocols that I would use, and I followed those. And it was based on 8 different key principles that I found in health. So I've used, I put at least 2 or 3 in each one of those categories to make sure I covered everything. And I didn't do all 23 every day, but there were at least 20 of those most every day, and they were just alternate. And one example of that Jack, I don't know if you did the PT watch. Did you have the watch that you wore?
Yep.
You know, that was every day. I did that every day, sometimes twice a day. And then my first one on the list was my devotion and prayer. So I try to put God first in that day. So with 15 minutes. Then I figured out I could do 2 of these at a time. So that cut my time down a little bit.
Yeah.
So
we kind of like to call that biohacking. When you can stack on stack.
Yeah. One of the doctors at Hope for Cancer said that, which I I think I might have shared this with you earlier, but he said, the doctor said, do you read the Bible? Well, he said, do you know what the most effective treatments you're going to have? I said, well, I'd like to know. I'll make sure I do it. He said, do you read the Bible? I said, well, yeah, but do you read it out loud? And I go, well, sometimes, but not every day. He said, read it out loud. He said, it's the most powerful treatment because you have the frequency of God's Word. So Cathy probably started hearing me reading out loud. Even still today, 4 years later, I still am reading that scripture out loud. So I think that was really good when I came back from Hope for Cancer, was getting that system set up.
It says God's Word will not return void.
Yeah.
In all kinds of ways.
Because at Hope for Cancer, your entire day is scheduled out for you, right?
Yeah.
That's your focus. So then when you're coming home after those 3 weeks, you have to be the one, the patient, right, has to be the one to implement everything. So was it easy? Was it fearful? Because we were scared before we even left the clinic the day we were leaving. And it's like, we don't want to leave. Like, we want to stay here,
They
right?
know everything to do.
Right.
So was it easy? Because we have found, people have told us that, like, there's a lot of drop-off from Hope for Cancer treatments, therapies, once they get home, because people just get overwhelmed or discouraged. So was it easy for you? Was there a time where you're just looking in the mirror and you're like, I don't know how I'm going to do this?
That's a good question. Yeah, because it took me a while to get this set up, how to do it. I was asking God, how am I going to get this set up? What do I need to do? Well, I have my our stuff that came back. It came in finally, some of the stuff at Home for Cancer, because it took about a week for it to get here.
Yeah.
But I was implementing some of this stuff right away, and I developed this sheet, getting the room cleaned out, and I kind of looked forward to it because I was determined. I was that God had a plan, and I was wanting to work the plan. So I would ask God, say, God, do you want me to do these probiotics? Yeah, probiotics was good. Infrared lamp, tenant machine, the balanced menu. That was probably the hardest, to getting the menu changed from the standard American diet.
It's
I
not
had a
that
little
here.
bit
It's
of
when you
good
go
stuff,
out,
but
or you go someplace, then that's the hard part. But you learn to take things with you, or you learn to.
So what was your diet? What did that look like when you returned home?
that was the big one. It's a term
sugar.
They called no sugar, no dairy, no oils, no processed oils. Sugar, processed oils, and no.
We didn't do gluten.
No gluten, or animal fats. Well, it was more so no beef.
We didn't do. You just did fish.
I just did fish, and
not
so
every day.
That was a big change, because Cathy had to make some changes in the kitchen. But the doctor said, if you're going to gain weight,
fairly healthy compared to some people before, and I think that's why you probably did so well, because we didn't eat like really terrible. We didn't eat a lot of junk food. We never ate a lot of fast food. But you still make changes.
Yeah, I didn't have any of that. And he said the only way you're going to gain weight is to work out muscle mass. So I was 155 pounds.
At 6'3.5".
At 6'3.5", I looked like a.
You were a rail.
I'm emaciated. Well, when I first went to Hope for Cancer, I was 157. I went down to 154, and I talked to Oscar. I said, he's our dietitian, and I said, Oscar, I need to gain weight, not lose it. So he did give me a little bit extra chicken or fish. He gave me an extra serving of fish. So I felt pretty special about that. But I did maintain my weight when I was there. But when I got home, then I noticed I started gaining a little weight. I was jumping up and down with excitement. Yes, I'm 165. I'm 175.
Yeah.
So
that was really exciting because I was
still eating well. It wasn't like you were eating things you shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But you were just
Did you implement any juicing?
Yes.
Yes. Juicing was big.
We bought an Ava juicer, and and I juiced carrots, and we did greens. We did red, we did orange, we did we
had
did 3 different kinds of juice.
Red day, green day, orange day, purple day. We had different days, different colors. And
how much juice do you think you drank a day?
I would probably 32 ounces of juice. And then the big thing was there's electron donors and electron stealers. So I had to determine what was actually giving my body electrons that were healing and what was stealing it. Because food that was cooked was actually stealing the energy that my body needed to heal. So I knew if I crossed that line too many times that it could be work against me.
Well, the juicing helped because
and the juicing was all electron donors.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we can drink green juice and feel alive.
Yeah.
Like if you can get past I think if you're not used to eating healthy, you would drink it like my mom. She's probably gonna watch this.
Okay,
She thinks it's like grass.
Yeah.
She's like, I can't. It tastes like I'm drinking a dandelion. And I'm like, but if you can change your palate over time, 2 ounces a day.
Yes.
And then a week later, 4 ounces a day. A week later,
wants it.
6 ounces a day. And then your body starts to want it, and you're like, wow, I actually feel energized.
Yeah.
I feel alive. This gives me
Right.
life.
I think we go back at people that do read Scripture. I think I realized that what would Adam and Eve have eaten in the garden? They wouldn't have had a hamburger. They wouldn't have had all this stuff that America calls food. But they would have had the juices. They would have had the raw fruits and vegetables. They didn't have frying pans. They didn't have ovens. They ate the raw food off the tree of life.
That's what Dr. Tony talks about, the garden food plan in his book.
Yeah.
When I tell people to read Dr. Tony's book, that's the part I tell them to read. Because you can get lost in the oxygen therapy and the
minutia.
There's a lot in there. It's a great read. And he writes it in a way that the normal person could understand.
Yes.
But just read the garden food plan first.
Yes.
I like that. Yeah, the garden food plan.
Yeah, go to that chapter, read that chapter. It starts to make sense.
Yep. And that's the thing that I've heard from Dr. Malcolm in his journey of cancer. He had a grape-sized, it was a grapefruit-sized tumor in his bladder. Was it bladder or was it his colon?
No, it was his colon.
His colon. And he was saying 80% raw. He was at 80% raw because he wanted to get rid of it because his mother had died from colon cancer from the same thing. So he was very big in the raw fruits and vegetables.
With colon cancer, Zach was colorectal cancer. And that's what we're finding is people who have colon cancer or colorectal cancer, the raw food is what actually they attribute to their healing.
Yes. There's all types of the polyphenols. There's so many different
antioxidants.
Yeah, the antioxidants that the colon needs to keep it clean.
Yeah.
It's like the dumping ground for it.
And when you juice, your body doesn't have to break anything down. There's no digestion that's needed. And so it's like just IVs. It's like infusions of carrots.
Well, it's just like...
It really is. Yeah. It just goes it goes right into your
straight
bloodstream.
to the cell.
Right.
Which is what's important is cellular, cellular nutrition, and cellular debris is dangerous too. So you need to clean the cells and then give them what they need. But you talk about supplements are important, but supplements are supplements. That's what they're called, supplements for. And people think that they can just, open up bottle after bottle and that's going to change. But it's to supplement the foundation of a good diet.
And that's so wise.
Yeah.
Yep. I think that's the message for a lot of people is consider what we're putting in our mouth. I mean, if it's every day we're eating the standard American diet, we're going to have the standard American disease. They got the ASD, American Standard Disease.
Yeah.
So expect it because we're following in that pattern.
Yeah.
But if you have the efforts and to change that.
Mm-hmm.
You might look a little odd when you bring your own water bottle to the restaurant.
I do all the time.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I tell them I've got my water.
Yeah. You know, this is side note, but I down the rabbit hole of mold. You know, if you go to a restaurant where they have those fountain drinks you get your own, apparently the ice machines are like notorious for mold in their ice.
They don't clean them.
It's really hard to find something we can eat now. Coming back from Hope for Cancer and seeing what we should eat, it's really hard to find something that you can eat in a restaurant these days. And here we have to travel an hour to hour and a half to find a place to have good food. But that's a commitment that we've had to make for living here in this area.
Zach likes to say, you pick your hard.
Yeah.
You know, in that, well, you explain it. That's your tagline.
Most people, chemo conventional is hard in its own sense. Yeah. One of the hardest decisions I made was when the doctor said, this is your only hope and you better listen to me or you're going to die. By doing his treatment plan, the scariest thing was walking out and knowing I wasn't going to do it, and then told Savannah, and then family and friends all think you're crazy. And then I start believing I'm crazy, but I've got the peace of God. But it's, if you go the conventional route, I'm not saying chemo is easy to go through. It's not by any means. But you just show up. They hook you up, and you're just there getting their drugs.
Yep.
We had to go through our own hard of radical life change and flipping our world upside down.
Because most people that go through chemo are not told to change their diet.
Right.
And if they are told to change their diet, it's to stay away from what they need.
Yeah.
Which is greens and, you know, any fresh fruits and vegetables. A lot of times they will tell you, do not eat this. It's because they're tearing down their immune system. They're not building their immune system up.
Right.
That's why usually cancer comes back with a rage, because they've tore their immune system down so far that, you know, any cancer stem cells that are left come back ravaging. And that's
Zach's oncologist. I asked him, I said, so this was before I knew that he wasn't going to do chemo. I said, so while he's doing treatment, what are we going to do to build his immune system? And he said, well, I don't know, just don't take any herbs because that will counteract my chemo.
Dr. Tony talks about like changing the whole terrain.
Yeah.
It's like a garden, a beautiful garden, like changing it from just vegetation and dead vegetation to a beautiful garden kind of thing.
Yeah, a lot of diversity. I like to use the illustration that when you move into a new neighborhood, let me back up. There's different diversities of microbiomes or different bacterias in the gut. And of course, the gut's probably 15 to 16 foot long. So that's a pretty good sized neighborhood of about, 10 trillion cells in that little 15 foot long. But with that, you have different colonies that are living within that gut at different layers and different levels. And there could be 15, it could be 20. If somebody's really sick, it could be 100, 200. But the perfect one is have 1,000 different colonies living there in that gut. What I like to liken it to is like a neighborhood. If we had to move into a new neighborhood and you only have like 4 houses in the neighborhood, that's not too diverse. You get tired of talking to one person. So, but if you had 1,000 people living in that neighborhood, that's pretty cool. You got a lot of things you can talk about, you can do, and that's what the whole goal is: get as many people in your neighborhood to make it diverse and friendly, and move out all the bad stuff, move out all the criminals out of your neighborhood.
Well, that's each colony does a different thing.
Yeah, and each colony does a different thing of communicating throughout the body. Yeah. Some's communicating with the brain, some's communicating with different organs, fighting viruses. I mean, there's so many different things that each one has a job to do. So if we're just eating the standard American diet, your colony is so small, and if we don't feed it, and that's what's so important. And my point is sauerkraut. Sauerkraut is one of the best ones because I've made some sauerkrauts that are 250 to 300 different species that will feed that colony. So that's where the conventional doctors are missing a lot of times. These guys are smart, but they're not smart in the right area, and that's getting into the gut. Some of them have picked up on some of this a little bit. Some of them are wising up to this.
Well, a lot of doctors are not given a lot of they aren't given a lot of knowledge about diet.
Yeah.
They have very little in their medical training.
Yeah.
I think they have like maybe one semester of nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
And so because of that.
You're given like a dietitian or a nutritionist when you're going through conventional care, but it's more, they're not using food as medicine.
No.
That's the difference. They're just keeping you nourished.
Yes.
But you guys used food as like medicine, plant medicine.
Which Hippocrates said, let food be thy medicine.
Yeah. You know, you go to Hope for Cancer, you come back, you have support from them, but then they encourage to be, you know, have doctors here stateside.
Yeah.
How many doctors did you continue to see? An oncologist? I know Dr. Fetters.
Yes.
Like, what did that look like?
I think, Zach, your question there leads to what maybe the listeners could really benefit from is to have a council of health or a round table of health for the listeners, and be very careful who we pick to have on that round table. Mm-hmm. Pick out people that you know are maybe doing the same thing that you are, maybe that we've gone through, some counselors that have some good products that stimulate your healing, maybe a pastor that can pray with you and tell what God's wisdom is and what you should eat. But pick out some 4 or 5 people that are very serious about you and love you. And that's what I had to do, is find a counselor of health. And they're hard to find. Mm-hmm. A good one is hard to find that will give you the time. And sometimes our pastors, they are good, they'll pray with you, but when it comes to nutrition, a lot of times they're struggling like most other Americans are. Get with Zach and Savannah, get with you guys, and there's a lot of wisdom with you guys, with the naturopath doctor. But I can't impress upon people that much as find a good round table.
We get some pushback on the internet of, why don't you just listen to your doctors? Well, I'm trying to find doctors who will listen to me, support me, and get me to where I want to go. So like I always say, I kind of view my council of doctors as a basketball team. So it's like, I'm the coach, and the doctors are the players, and they need to know their roles. So a point guard is not the same as a center. So he has a different job, right, out on the court. And that's kind of how I picked all of my doctors. They all have their own role, but they need to know what the role is.
Yes.
And I will listen to them, but they also need to. It's a conversation back and forth.
Right. And you're leading the game, not the individual players.
Yeah.
And when people say, "Why don't you listen to your doctors?" We do. We choose the doctors we're going to listen to. I listen to every single thing Dr. Tony said. You know. So cancer is so scary. It's still so scary. Mm-hmm. Zach asked you earlier off camera, how do you battle that fear of reoccurrence?
Yeah. Boy, that's another big question. Because our nature is original creation, we were not to fear, but God put that fear in us for a reason to make us aware of danger, caution. But what has happened, the philosophies and the psychology of medicine has changed. They use fear now as a billy club to get us to conform. And it's everywhere. We see it on the news media. Every time we turn the television on, it's all about fear. If you don't do this, what's CSI Miami and CSI this, well, no matter what you do, they're going to find you and take you to jail. Mm-hmm. But it's the fear the medical practice has used it now. If you don't follow what we're saying or what we're recommending, you could possibly lose your life. It's that
fear sells.
Yeah, fear sells.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
I mean, it's not the way God intended. And Paul, in his letter to the Romans, says, don't be governed by fear. I mean, if you want to look it up, it's Romans chapter 8. But our whole culture is revolved around this fear factor. And we don't have to fear. We have Christ as our leader and as our great physician. And if we make it through the cancer, or we make it through a car wreck, or if we make it, whatever it is that we're faced with in a medical situation, if we just follow what God has required of us, no matter what happens, we're following His will. And if it's His choice to give us another year, another 10 years or 20 years, then we praise God. And if we don't, we're still going to praise God, because we're going to go to heaven. So really, what is there to fear? I mean, we're going to win either way. But the fear factor that the world has put into us, I guess I would pause there and say, we need to release that fear, because Satan uses it for a tool.
It's the mind, and it's a mind game that Satan plays with us. And I've said, when it was diagnosed and everything, I remember that night coming home and going to sleep beside him thinking, okay, I can choose to live in fear of this, or I can choose to decide that I'm not going to walk in fear, that I'm going to walk in faith, and then I'm not going to go down that dark alley, because that I don't want to be pulled down that. God help me, I do not want to go down that dark alley. Don't let me go down that dark alley. And I think because I prayed that prayer, and because I know that there were people lifting us up in prayer every day, my family, our friends, our church, and I felt those prayers strong. And I know, because I don't feel like I'm not a fearful person, but I could see where it would have been very easy for me to go into anxiety and stress and worry. And I did not. I stayed strong, and sometimes I look back and think, how did I stay that strong? And I know how I stayed that strong, because I said, don't let me go down that. And I said, one day I remember starting to go down that little alley and thinking some things, and I'm like, no, I'm not going there. And I knew that it wasn't that I had this rosy, nothing could happen. It was more of, I just had faith that no matter what happened, I was going to have strength, and I was going to keep being strong. And I had to be strong for him too. And I didn't want to show that, fear to anybody. I wanted to stay strong for him. And I chose to not live in that fear. I made that choice.
Was that before you went to Hope for Cancer? Yeah, because I know that version. Diagnosed. Yeah, that version of Cathy met me at Hope for Cancer, at the table at lunch, and you poured that over me. And I might cry.
I know.
We don't have anything to fear.
Yeah, well, it is a win-win for you guys.
I know.
You get to win here and live with us, or you get to win in heaven. It wasn't going to be a win-win for us.
I know.
We were at risk of being alone. And that version of Cathy met me at Over Cancer and ate lunch with me every day.
And we had coffee.
we snuck out of the clinic and got coffee.
I think the best time I had at Hope for Cancer was when the four of us went to that little restaurant, and we were sitting there eating that food, and here come...
You were good. You didn't go off your...
You didn't go off your diet.
No, you did not.
No, and here come Oscar.
We felt like we were doing something wrong.
Oscar's the nutritionist at Hope for Cancer. And he came walking by the restaurant.
He's a big buff dude. You
and you're being really good, though. You were being good. You didn't have anything to...
I mean, we met so many incredible people, but just the connection we made through the 2.5 weeks that we were together. I remember when you guys, the night, after we left your room, the night before you guys were leaving, like Savannah and I were just like, okay, there's other people here that still need encouragement, but Howard and Cathy are leaving. We want to leave. We don't want to be here without them.
You were going just how many days?
And that's when it was like, they're our Hope for Cancer grant. Like, God knew we needed some grandparents or parental figures. And there were still down there. There were some older parental figures, but
there was a lot of strength there.
When you leave,
you walk in and you feel that hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you walk in, you're hugged.
Yeah.
At the Cancun clinic, there's a clinic in Tijuana and a clinic in Cancun. At the Cancun clinic, there is a person's job every day. You walk into the clinic ready for all your treatments, and they hug you.
Yeah.
You're hugged.
That's
how you should be greeted for cancer treatment.
Yes. We need to go to Cancun, honey. We need some hugs.
But at the Tijuana clinic, when you walk in, you live there in the clinic, so you're not walking into it every day.
Yes.
You live there. But the first time you walk in, you are hugged, and they said, let the healing begin.
Yes.
Like, what?
It's not an easy journey. Zach and I probably still. We get a little pain over here.
Yeah. But it's a choice. You choose each day to live either in hope or in despair.
Yeah.
In your life, no matter what, you choose that day, you know. And God says, Jesus say who you'll follow. Well, it's the same thing. Who am I going to follow? Am I going to follow God's voice, or am I going to follow Satan's voice of discouragement and fear? Or am I going to listen to God's voice of, hope and
We heard someone say a couple of days ago, during their cancer journey, they said Satan talked a lot.
Yeah.
And I listened. It's like, oh no, that was convicting. God talked a lot and Zach listened. Satan talked a lot and I listened. I mean, I had to really lean into him. He was the one connected so well with the Father, but he made the time for it. He made the space for it.
Yeah. I remember hearing that, because Zach, he would spend time in his treatments 4 or 5 hours a night when he'd come home after 8 hours of work. That was that commitment that a person needs. And you were going through those treatments and you were with a determination. I mean, you were determined.
Yeah.
You were overachieving.
Well, and I think people need to realize that is we always, we talk about Hope for Cancer can't be a part of a lot of people's journey, right?
Sure.
But what people need to know is you get a good jump start and you gain knowledge from a place like Hope for Cancer in those 3 weeks.
Yes.
But you don't need to go to Hope for Cancer or Oasis of Hope in order to heal from cancer.
Right.
So that's what the people watching this, they need to realize it was the things we did every day that led to our healing.
Sure.
Right.
It is.
It's just not.
It's just you don't passively just. I guess I'll eat one carrot today. No, you're juicing 5 pounds of carrots and getting it in your body.
Yeah. I think Hope for Cancer really sets a good foundation. But Zach says the healing happens at home. You don't go to Hope for Cancer for 3 weeks and then you're cancer free.
Right.
That rarely happens. I know people's cancer markers come down or tumors shrink or, and you stop a lot of the things at home that have been feeding the cancer.
Sure.
Yes.
So yes, you could see improvement, but the healing really happens when you come home and have to flush it all out.
Yes.
It's the boot camp. The Hope for Cancer, Oasis of Hope is just the boot camp. And then you got to go out into the field and really make it happen.
It's what you do on a daily basis that will compound on itself in order to
follow
heal.
People that have been through this, that have come out of it on the right nutrition and the right. There are so many people now, and there's so much more opportunity now to find those people because of the internet and because of podcasts. There are a lot of people that are good people to follow that are, holistic and naturopathic doctors that are out there that give good advice on diet and nutrition and things that you can follow without, Dr. Tony, you can follow him on, you can listen to him. There are things that you can glean, whether you're there or not, that you can still do.
And that's one of the reasons he wrote his book.
Yes.
Was for people who can't go to the clinic. You can still gain some knowledge from what he's written. How long from diagnosis to NED did it take? Because most people don't, like for me, right? It was just over a year. Like most people,
yes,
they don't want to hear. They want the quick fix.
Yeah, yes, and I would say from diagnosis, which that
It was in August of 22, and I think it was 24 that you were NED.
Yeah.
NED stands for no evidence of disease.
Mm-hmm. So that was probably what, 2.5 years?
Yes.
About 2.5 years.
I've heard people say that even 2 years is fairly quick to
It is
to get to reverse. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a.
I mean, our oncologist, I think, was even amazed when we went in. I think after that large tumor, the golf ball size tumor in his groin was gone, she was like, "I'm not seeing anything on the screen at all." And she actually called the.
She said, I don't know how to read these reports. I thought, that's awful odd. You see them every day. She kept looking at, turning that screen around. I don't see this thing. Yeah. Let me call the radiologist. And she got on the phone right there on the phone, picked it up, and got him on the cell phone. Could you look up Mr. Wickersham's file and see if you can read this CAT scan for me? He got on. I could bring back her shuffling around, and he said, "I'm looking." Apparently, he said, "It's not there. It's gone."
What area in the body were they?
That was in his groin.
It's in the groin.
In the groin.
Big, like a golf ball size.
Big golf ball.
So you had tumors in spots that
his lungs
just
there
disappeared.
Were like 20
so they weren't even
there
surgically
were 20
removed.
some in one lung, and I forget how many in the other lung.
18 spots on one lung.
26 in the other.
26.
And they
How
just
many in
kept
your liver?
disappearing. There was two
spots in the liver.
So your lungs are clear.
Mm-hmm.
Your liver is clear.
Yep.
And your bones are clear.
The
bones
bone
are clear.
Cleared up first. The spot in his T12 was the first one to just be gone. And that was amazing to her because she said, that's one of the hardest spots. I would have thought that would have been, take a lot. I mean, and that was within probably 6 to 8 months it was gone.
Yeah. And that big tumor, that was really, God must have got a kick out of that one.
That was the largest tumor besides,
That 30 centimeter, that's a pretty good sized lump there. You can see it. I mean, it just stuck out on that CAT scan pretty bad.
Well, it was raised on you. You had a large, it was.
So the listeners are probably thinking, whatever he did, I want to do.
Yeah.
Right? What are like top 3 outside of Jesus in prayer and outside of that, because we know that's the best first place to fall is at the feet of Jesus.
Yeah.
Yep.
But what is top 3?
The top 3, the top one would definitely be the juicing. To the diet. We got to get the diet. That's 80% of your life is going to be in the diet. Mm-hmm. I mean, some of the other protocols might expand your life a few months, but the juicing and the raw diet is going to really extend it. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be number 1. And if you have any questions about that, I know Zach and Savannah have a lot of things. There's little cards you can get, and that is just wonderful because it gives you no guesswork. You just take your card, go to the grocery store, and you can get it. And don't worry about the juicing at home. That's going to mess up your kitchen because it'd be better to mess up your kitchen than mess up your life. so don't worry about the kitchen.
It's true.
Or let Savannah juice for you.
Yeah, Savannah will juice for you. Yeah. International shipping.
Yes. And then don't be afraid of some sauerkraut. I know it doesn't taste good, but it's going to reset your whole microbiome. And what you're looking to do is get rid of the stem cells, the cancerous stem cells that hides inside that gut and those lower layers of the gut microbiome. So that's the number 1. Yeah. And then I would say probably for me would be either the hyperbaric chamber or the hydrogen therapy because cancer loves the body that has no oxygen. On your probably on a blood report, it might show hypoxia, and that is low oxygen in your blood cells. So you want definitely high amounts of oxygen.
And exercise.
And exercise. You can get that through exercise, walking. There's some type of walking, just getting out of the house and walking. So that's number 2. And then, back up. Number 2, hyperbaric chamber floods your body with oxygen. So both of those. So we got hyperbaric chamber, your diet, and then number 3 would be the good old sauna. There's a sauna treatment. And sauna, you can do the red light infrared sauna, or you can do the far infrared. Dr. Tony in his book recommends the far infrared sauna. And the reason for that is there are a lot of toxins that these cancer cells, the pathogens, the parasites, whatever might be in there, they have fecal matter, so that goes into our blood. So we want to make sure that we sweat and get that out of there as much as we can. There are some good supplements that help do that, but those saunas will definitely help. Not only me, but I've seen I know at least 5 different doctors, naturopaths, in their presentations say some type of sweating is required. So those 3 are going to be the biggest ones to help in this journey. And if you have any questions, I'll be more than help to share my list with you. And as Zach was saying, there is no magic bullet. This takes a system, a life change.
Yeah.
And being consistent.
Was that
Consistency.
Yeah, consistency. Yeah.
Yeah. And not growing weary. Was there any verse or passages of scripture that you clung to during the scary nights?
Yes, there was. It's in Matthew.
Excuse me.
Are you going to go check on the baby girl? Peter was doing quite well as long as he kept his eyes on Jesus. But when he started focusing on the waves, then it got a little ugly for him. He started sinking. So my story in this cancer treatment was keep my eyes on his path for me and keep my focus on him. Because when I started focusing or listening to the waves of discouragement and the doctors and the prognoses and these different things, I looked at them as another one of those waves of discouragement. I wasn't about to take my eyes and put it on there, because I knew that was going to get me off my path. So Matthew was my big scripture to go to.
Savannah always said, for me, that there were so many voices, whether they were like physical voices from people sharing their opinions, and she said there were so many voices, but the only voice that Zach was focused on was God's voice.
Yeah.
And his leading. Yeah.
I mean, Zach woke up every morning and would, first thing before his feet hit the floor, he would ask the Lord for peace, wisdom, and discernment. I think if you start your day like that, the Lord's going to bless it, first of all, but he's also going to tune your ears to his voice.
Yeah.
Like, he's a good shepherd.
Yes, he is.
Yep.
But Zach was a good sheep.
I was going to say, the sheep know the shepherd's voice.
Yes.
Yep.
And then he did. He did. But every day he woke up and asked the Lord for that. Yeah. And he gave it to him.
Yeah, because those waves, people don't realize. I don't know if you've ever been in a severe storm. A lot of the people that were in these Pacific fleets, the 3rd Pacific Fleet, and these different, when they go into these typhoons, some of these waves were 30, 50. And I think Dr. Admiral Hensley in World War II, he said he recorded actual waves of 90 feet. And
like
he
a
was
9-story building.
Yeah, I mean, that is a huge wave.
Yeah.
And he said the sailors on these boats were terrified because of these waves and the sound. He said the sound was horrific. And that's what was so interesting about these reports. You know, it kind of mimics what we go through in life when we're faced with these diagnoses. You know, we're going to hear some pretty discouraging sounds that we're going to be terrified with, or we could be. But I remember my dad, he told me, he said, son, in a typhoon, there are no atheists. I thought, well, that's interesting. he said there were guys on their knees praying, and they were focusing on God. Here, some of these guys weren't even a Christian, but they turned their face to God. And that's what when we're faced with all these discouraging words and all this type of thing, is to continue to face to God and let Him speak to us, like you're saying, Zach.
Yeah.
I have Joshua 1:19 as one that I not commanded you, be strong and courageous. Do not be terrified nor dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's a verse you told me at lunch.
Yeah.
Many days at lunch, actually.
Because, you're walking through the fire, it doesn't matter, He's right beside you.
Mm-hmm.
He was with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego as they went through that fire. He was right there in the midst of them, and, no matter what happened, He was going to be there for them.
And they did not get burned.
They did
not even a spark.
They didn't smell like smoke, even.
I love it.
Not even a.
Yeah.
They didn't smell.
They didn't even smell like smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Nebuchadnezzar, I mean, you think could have been a pretty smart guy. He said, man, your God is God. He's above all the other gods. I give him credit. He did go that far, but he just didn't give his life to God. He still had a struggle with because that's something he hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
But that was a witness to him. Things do happen. God does. He is in control.
That's right.
We just need to keep giving Him the control.
Yeah.
Yes. So easy to
And
take
it's
it
daily.
back.
It's daily. It is daily.
Yep.
It's not just a one-time. Okay. It's daily.
Daily.
Sometimes it's longer.
Minute,
it's less.
every minute.
Yes, I was going to say sometimes it's hour by hour, minute by minute.
Yeah.
Especially when you're in the hospital and you're going through. You're waiting for your loved one to come out of surgery, and you're waiting for that report of whether it's good or bad. It's,
and it's worth it because we get to see little people like this.
Yeah.
the miracle baby.
Yeah. If Zach would have done the conventional treatment, he wouldn't have viable sperm after.
Yeah.
So when we've had 5 babies, and then he got cancer, and I said, I want to do this one more time. So if he's healed, I want to do one more time. So she's my one more.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're a special little lady. Yes, you are.
And she's beautiful and perfect.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys.
You're welcome.
I enjoy it.
Is there one thing you'd like to leave the people watching
Honey,
that we haven't discussed already?
Do you have anything?
One thing I've told other people before, sometimes people are rushed in their decisions, and especially with cancer, doctors and friends and family will rush you into making decisions, and it's not, okay, I've got to make this decision by tomorrow or I'm going to die. Don't feel like that you have to make this decision quickly. It's something that you can take the time, and God gives you that time, and it's not an emergency, like I've got to have this done. Don't rush with your decisions when it's something that important. Take time and pray about it. Talk to other people and get opinions from other people. Don't feel threatened into a box of I've got to hurry through this. And I think that's sometimes one of the biggest mistakes people make, is that they feel like they're on this timeline of I've only got this much time, and then they make decisions that they regret or that aren't right for them because they were pushed into.
Yeah. Very rarely is cancer an emergency. And if it's blocking an airway or something,
That's
obviously we
different.
need to address.
Sure.
But what you're saying is just slow down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't listen. You're listening sometimes to the wrong people when you're rushing, and you need to take that time. Yeah. And I think that I've heard that so many times over and over again from people, from doctors' mouths and other family and friends that have said, you got to get on this, you got to get on this. And they're not taking the time to think things through and pray and make the right decision.
Yeah.
Don't rush.
That's a good one, honey. Don't rush. I think probably there's a couple of things, but I think probably the one word would be persistence. Be persistent. If we know the plan that God has given for us, follow that plan and be persistent in it. And it's one thing. I think the best way to illustrate that would be is that we're going to fall off the wagon once in a while in your journey of healing, but it's the persistent to be on your plan to go back to it. I think that's my motto. I think Cathy said it on my tombstone. I'll be better tomorrow. I'll do better tomorrow.
Yeah.
But we're human, and sometimes we're just gonna we just want to go out and maybe experience I don't know. I never want to say experience a Coke, but just do something maybe that's not on the plan, but just be persistent to get back in your protocols and what God has given us to follow. Yeah. And being persistent, look where Zach's at, look where I'm at, and look where hundreds of other people that have been persistent in the programs, and they're walking miracles that as a testimony for what God has in store for us.
Well, you're not going to do perfect on everything every day, and that's life in every way. But knowing that that you're still on that path, that you've still got that path in front of you, that you don't stray off of it and not come back. Sheep wander. And the shepherd brings them right back in with that little,
right.
And if you keep wandering, he's going to break a leg. You're not going to get off the path.
Yeah.
And that's where Cathy, she'll get me on the path. You're not. Those potato chips aren't good for you.
God knew you needed to help me.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I know this is going to encourage a lot of people. It's going to inspire. I know when we were in the thick of it, watching survivor stories, it didn't even matter if they had the same cancer. Even to this day, I will every day I will watch, whether it's the same person I saw 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or whether it's somebody I come across. I just finding people who have survived and are thriving through cancer. It stirs up encouragement and belief that healing is possible. So you are a living example and testimony of the goodness of God.
And we can breathe another day and thank God for the miracle.
That's right. Well, we love you guys.
Yeah.
It's been fun. Yeah.
First podcast.
Bye.
Good to talk to everybody.